All right, let's go. Here's my brutally honest advice to e-commerce founders. They're probably wondering, who the hell am I and why should I be talking about advice to e-commerce founders? Let me introduce myself. My name is Blake Bauer and I'm the CEO at a digital advertising agency for e-commerce and D2C e-commerce brands called Jet Ads. So we work with a handful of 7- and 8-figure e-commerce brands. And over the last 5 years, I've had the pleasure of not only starting my own e-commerce businesses, but working with e-commerce businesses of all different sizes, from below 6 figures per year, just starting up, to 7 figures and to 8 figures, multiple 8 figures. So I've seen really a lot when it comes to a range of different e-commerce brands. And I've seen the commonalities between the clients that we work with, help with ads, don't work, don't get anywhere, and the bigger clients that we work with that are spending hundreds of thousands per month. So I just want to take the insights from that and really distill them and share them to you with what I found is so common in the successful brands. Now, the first piece of brutally honest advice is that your product just might not be that good. And it's a hard reality, I think, for a lot of founders to face the facts that, hey, your product might not be very good or even very needed in the marketplace. And the reality is, in e-commerce, there's so many different brands out there. There's so many ways that, Chinese manufacturers, create and dropship products that are very similar for cheaper. And you're competing with Amazon and all the products that are there. And so you really need a strong, compelling reason for your business to exist, especially outside of an Amazon, or at least on an Amazon, to compete against those other products, right? Whether that's superior quality, superior marketing, superior design, right? You need to have that strong differentiator. And if you don't, there's a reason why, your ads aren't working and your business is not scaling, right? And it probably comes down to the fact that your product isn't very needed or it's not very good. And that's just the reality of it, right? And so instead of trying to make marketing work, oftentimes, and Alex Hormozi talks about this a lot, you need to go back to the drawing board, make your product amazing. And if you're not in a position to invest into R&D, invest into prototyping and developing and engineering, oftentimes, your product's not going to stand out in the marketplace. It's not going to have a need and a purpose for existing. And so in the marketplace, you're going to get outcompeted and it's not going to do anything, right? The biggest brands have wind behind their sails when it comes to growth because there's people that their product's new and the conversion rate's high. It's a new product, it's more interesting, people want it for a specific reason, and it is unique in the marketplace. So that's the first piece of advice in the commonality between brands that we've seen scale. The next is being unfocused. And so we've worked with a lot of brands, especially when you get over 6 figures, closer to 7 figures. Usually you have something that is winning. So you usually have a really solid business, you have a good product, you have a good positioning. And where you can go astray is you start to stray away from that and look at other avenues because you think, well, I made this product to 7 figures, right? And so to get to multiple 7 figures or 8 figures would mean that I need 10 more of these types of products, right? When really you need to make your existing product better, your existing funnel better, and get more people that otherwise wouldn't buy from you to buy from you. Maybe that means expanding different countries. Maybe that means making more compelling ads that appeal to a more broad demographic. Whatever it would be, the way to scale is to invest and double down into a singular product or a couple of products or even a bundle offer, not to add additional products that are unrelated or not a part of your core main product. So that includes different SKUs in all shapes and forms, right? Really, your customer usually doesn't care too much about different colors and different designs and things like that. It just makes your complexity of your backend a lot more difficult and a lot more difficult to estimate, how much product you need for each of those, right? Focus on the core things, focus on doubling down on what's working, and you'll find a lot of the business at 7, 8 figures, right? You only need really one product to get you there and making that hyper efficient, hyper optimized. And so everything outside of that really takes away from your ability to scale that one product. And if you read the book Ready, Fire, Aim, it's a great one. And it talks about a lot of those same concepts about needing only one product, doubling down on that. And then when it is the right time to expand to additional products, how to install people at the right times, things like that. And so being unfocused is a huge thing that we see as a problem. And your marketing is, again, not going to solve that. If complexity is arising and there's just too many offers running around right now, it makes every part of your business unfocused. Your marketing, your supply chain, your fulfillment, your email marketing, all of that gets more diluted with more products. Next is pricing. And I think pricing is a really interesting strategy. Again, just watch the Alex Hormozi video and he talks about pricing as the biggest lever in your business for profit, which is really interesting because it accounts for, it's such an easy thing to change, yet it can drive the biggest impact for your business. And so a lot of products can be underpriced, especially if you have something unique in the market. And so experimenting with price can be a huge lever for your business. Again, if you can charge twice as much and convert more than half the people, that means you're going to make more profit, right? So ultimately you're trying to figure out what is the optimal pricing for you, and that can unlock a lot more profit for your business, especially just increasing that over time. And typically you want to start lower and increase over time. And a great way to do that is if you have some small innovations on your product or making it better in some way, you can often launch the V2 model, make it more expensive, increase that price over time, and experiment a little bit more with pricing. You can also do that with landing pages and testing pricing out, but it does get a bit more complicated, but it's the biggest lever on price. Oftentimes you can be very underpriced without realizing it, and price is such an easy thing to control, especially for an e-commerce brand to test and figure out what's going to work. So test your pricing out and you can unlock, 25, 50% more profit just by increasing your price and getting your margin better. Next, and this especially impacts me in the agency space, but a lot of companies, I think, look at agencies as a fix for all their problems. And it's just really not what an agency does. It's meant to almost be an employee. And just think of it like an employee that you don't have to worry about paying them paid time off, that you don't have to, worry about them being sick, that, have clear deliverables, and that you can cancel, any given month if you want to, and expenses change or they don't deliver for you, right? It's pretty much like a employee. Sometimes they're lower paid than what a normal employee would pay, or sometimes they're higher paid depending on the services they're delivered, right? But an agency is definitely a tool to leverage to fill some type of specialized niche area of your business and also get high-level strategic guidance, but it's not going to solve your business. Ultimately, they are one step removed, and they kind of act like an external consultant in some cases, but they still don't have the oversight and the power to make a lot of that change in your business. And so very few agencies that can really turn your business around completely. It's really amplifying the success that you already have. And so that's how I would look at agency, as an employee that you're going to install. And the best partnerships often come from the brands that have the most clearest expectations of what they're looking for, that set clear targets for their agency, that support their agency, that work with them like a true partner and don't see them as a cost, but rather as a investment, and are committed to the long term of their agency as well. Nobody wants to work and feel scared month to month like they're going to lose their job, right? And so agency is the same way. If you have a longer contract with them for a year or even quarterly or whatever, right? It gives the agency that confidence to know that you're committed to the long term, you're not focused on short-term results, and that they can really invest and grow with you, versus when you're short-term, it's hard for any agency or any person to want to double down, invest more resources into you when they feel like they might, not be working with you in a few days from now. So that's how I would look at agencies. And they're a huge lever on your business to, again, grow your advertising, grow your marketing, level up all areas that you don't have time for. Again, even like accounting, supply chain, there's so many different areas that you can leverage employees and high talent. And that's where you want to use agencies, right? Use them in areas where they have experience in that they're bringing expertise to the table. They're bringing lots of different points. Like for us in advertising, we have worked with so many different e-commerce brands. We have so many different perspectives, right? That you're not going to typically get with an employee, right? You're going to get that with an agency. You're going to get their network, their connections, and use it for that, right? And there's a lot of value in that. And definitely take the time to vet your agency as well, right? Make sure you speak to multiple agencies, you interview them, have good questions, know what you're looking for, and know what price range you're willing to accept. And feel free to negotiate. A lot of agencies are open to that as well. So the last point here is another concept from Alex Hormozi, more, better, new, which I think is great. And even we're deploying that in our agency, but it is a huge point, which is focus first on more as the constraint, then focus on better as the constraint, then focus on new. And I think too many brands and founders are willing to look to new as the problem, right? They need a new advertising channel. They need a new product. They need a new promotion. They need something right new to add to the business, versus why can't you just do more, right? Why can't you do 10x the organic content production that you're currently doing, right? On YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, right? Why can't you do 10x? Why can't you do 10x the influencer partnerships that you do? Why can't you spend 10 times more on ads? And even the more narrow you get with that, the better, right? If you're just running ads, why can't you spend 10 times more on ads and not worry about all the other channels? Just spend 10 times more on ads, right? Or if influencers are your thing, why can't you spend 10 times more on influencers, right? And so looking to do more is often the better strategy than looking to do better or new, right? So look to do more first, because efficiency will decrease as you increase your volume on any one given activity, but you should still be able to sustain some type of level of profitability by increasing and doing more, right? And so the next one is better, right? And so there's so many different parts to better for an e-commerce business, but that could mean, again, better pricing, a better cost of goods sold by negotiating with manufacturers, a better product, a better email follow-up sequence, a better upsell sequence, a better average order value, better profit overall, right? Better advertising, better landing pages, better SEO. There's so many different areas to an e-commerce business that you can do better. And a lot of the time, that's just what it takes. It just takes a lot of brute force, a lot of work to make your e-commerce business better, to get that small percentage profit increases, every given month, rises in your overall business growth by doing all those small little tweaks that add up to a really big impact for your business. And again, the bigger your business is, the more important that stuff is just getting better at certain things. You're already doing things right, just doing them better and at a higher level. And obviously there'll be fluctuations in macroeconomic effects of, sometimes your industry isn't on an increase, right? It might be decreasing on any given month, but the overall e-commerce business industry should be growing. And so you want to make sure you're positioned well to take advantage of that. And there is going to be, some trends, but overall year to year, are you growing, right? That's where you want to look at more macro economic effects and making sure you're positioned well to capture that by just continuing to get better, continuing to put content out, continuing to innovate. Again, I've seen it too many times where brands don't innovate and they come to us and they're like, hey, our ads used to work, now they don't work, now our business is scrambling, we're not profitable, can you guys come and help us? And those are the types of clients that we don't want to work with, because no, we can't save you. It's because there's so many pieces now that are not working, right? The landing page isn't good anymore. Your product is a little bit outdated. Your assets are poor and are old, right? And so all of that just gets burnt out. And if you don't update that and you're not constantly working on it, you will get to a point where your offer dies out, your marketing dies out, and your brand is now not profitable or not doing revenue like it used to. So you need to stay on the cutting edge of this stuff. It's not like a local business where you're just going to have business coming in no matter what. You need to stay innovative. You need to stay on the cutting edge. You need to do more and look at that exit at sellable value long term. So I hope this was valuable. I hope this provided you some insights into, just what I would be looking to do if I was an e-commerce founder. I hope this was helpful for you. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe. I'm putting out a lot of content to e-commerce founders, D2C brands, how you can grow and scale using ads, using marketing overall, and just advice and tips like this. So appreciate it if you could subscribe, hit a like if you enjoyed the video as well. And until the next one, have an amazing rest of your day. Peace.